Hello everyone, this is Yvan Boudillet speaking from Paris in France. I'm really glad to be here today and we're going to explore the new frontiers of virtual goods in the music space. So let's start right now. So let me first introduce myself briefly. I'm the founder and CEO of TheLynk, which is an advisory company specialized in music and technology with clients across Europe and the US, and we basically help organizations to deal with innovation, digital transformation, and education programs. As an introduction and a bit of a mindset of for this talk, talking about music and innovation and cutting-edge technology and creativity, usually it is associated with disruption, like against. My take is we should approach all of this with a user perspective and a user usage driven perspective, which might help us to consider all of this as something more of a funnel, of a consumer journey, and of a value chain with some structures and some pieces to assemble. This is why you're going to see some graph in this presentation and some key examples more than just hashtags. Okay. Also, let me just say that without artists, none of this will be possible, and the artist's vision is one of the most, I think, interesting inspiration to consider moving forward when it comes to innovation in the space, not only of music but of creative industries in general, because artists are the one with the bold vision when it comes to embrace technology, being ahead of the curve when they have to invent new ways to express themselves but also engage with the fans and monetize their craft. Which brings us to look at this first example. Don Diablo recently released a virtual live experience through NFT, so non-fungible tokens, meaning he enabled his fan to acquire the right to access this piece of content with a unique digital item or key or um, in the form of an NFT. This is pretty innovative to do so because it combined two big trends like virtual live experience and new way to approach transaction through NFT, which is basically a way to develop digital items and digital piece of art in the form of a unique piece which is sealed in the blockchain as unique, and the ownership of it is also traced into the blockchain and enable some digital copies of artistic items to become unique piece of art. So what does it mean for the future? Then I think before we go further, we need to step a little bit back and look at back to the future of uh, what are the key milestones that uh, brought us here before we observe what comes next. So what brings me to this other piece of content, I hope you enjoy it. It is, yeah, as a snapshot you see, this is a 20 years of digital revolution in the music space. Started with this troublemaker Napster, moving to Pandora, quickly iTunes, Steve Jobs, this visionary guy. Social media also showing that not all social media are here to remain. And Facebook, a lot of innovation happens since then on Facebook, including Oculus and venues, attempt to recreate some virtual venues for artists as part of them. Yes, gaming, first in line when it comes to virtual goods and monetization of it. World of Warcraft is obviously a reference in the field. Some others, and Roblox has to be mentioned because they are not only there for a long time, but also they are really active nowadays and doing a lot of things in the music field, and just recently did a massive fundraising with one of the major music label as part of the investors. Deezer just released a partnership with an interesting live streaming platform. So it will be interesting to see how they combine live streaming, and the capacity to monetize fan engagement and direct to fan relationship, because also Deezer is known to have a kind of specific approach of managing monetization and rights for artists with a user-centric approach. And we move on and we move on, and a lot of things could be said here, but we don't have the time. Twitch, just to say that the music segment on Twitch is like growing like super rapidly, and this is definitely a platform to watch when it comes to music. Holograms, yes. Honestly, I'm not sure it will be the future of music, but it can be part of it. And then we are here some interesting example of in-game experience before COVID. This one in Fortnite with Marshmallow managing to reach 10 million, I think, attendees. It was a big splash, that event. And then, boo, the pandemic hit us all, and especially the live sector, live events like this conference, but most of the live performing artists were really struggling to make a living. But uh, they proved to be resilient, and also with companies like Epic Games again, Fortnite managed to did some great innovation in the form of that kind of virtual, like, tremendous gig of Travis Scott. I've chosen that picture because it's not about the big Travis Scott in the game, but really about what is sold in terms of package and in terms of virtual goods here, so for you to see. Then other examples from Wave VR with John Legend, a music festival organized in Minecraft, Tomorrowland as a virtual edition, and to close the loop, you remember the troublemaker at the beginning. Here we are, Napster being acquired by Melody VR, an established VR music startup that has been there for like a decade, and they acquired that brand. So it means something really important, and maybe it's a sign of the time. But before we debate about that in the networking time and in the Q&A, let's go back to our conversation about virtual goods. And here we go. So other examples, Lil Nas in Roblox, Genis, which is a avatar platform developing also NFTs. They just entered a partnership with Warner, and Warner again partner with the Wave VR, one of the most exciting metaverse platform in the field of music right now. And some example of NFTs, like really quickly. I know it goes fast, but it's to give you a snapshot of things. Also, to give you an idea of the kind of formats that have been developed. Most of them are like digital items. Here it's a more digital collectible version of an album from Kings of Leon. The same here. Megadeth with a digital artifact. And also interesting to note that some platforms come with not only an approach of NFT as a way to do transaction, but also a more compelling approach of rights management throughout the process, like the approach from Utopia Genesis Foundation, who launched recently Genesis Heart to enable NFT operation for artists direct. And yeah, this is an example of Elon Musk with his NFT song. But let's go now to this graph shortly before we jump to the last thoughts for today. So when we look at virtual goods in the music field, I guess we can structure that ecosystem in with three driving forces and three pillars, and some space in between and interaction for sure. The most solid pillar is obviously the gaming one, because all the bricks and all the models enabling a market to grow are already there. The audience, the transaction setup, and also the modelization, and everything is pretty much there to grow and to enable artists to really unlock like really interesting opportunities moving forward. Social media is not dead at all. They are growing still and in new forms, and also the kind of Facebook, Twitch, and Snapchat with three different approaches are trying to break that creator economy as much as they can, and enable new way of interaction, but also new way of monetization of that audience. And you have more specialized platform on the top, dealing with whether NFTs or whether live music experience virtually with some kind of digital currency approach. which bring us to also some important, I think, uh, takeaways or question for us moving forward. Like, what about fan engagement? Because I think it goes down to fan engagement and even to the concept of a fan club, that capacity to monetize virtual goods on top of your existing music and what used to be your album, and also a ticket to your live gig. This is all about the concept of a fan club, and how can we potentially foresee the reboot of the concept of a fan club in 2022. Interesting as a concept, right? Also, it goes not down, but it opens up uh, a new perspective for the music sector as part of the creator economy. And we have champions in the field like Patreon with a subscription based model attached to the artist to fan relationship, enabling a lot of things to happen. Not too much right now with immersive technology or virtual live experiences as part of it, but it can come. Or some platform in that field like Session Live I mentioned earlier are trying uh, to sneak in and to open new perspective and new parties for artists to monetize this relationship in immersive experiences. And we cannot talk about that without mentioning the fact that to be sustainable at scale, those platforms and artists using them need potentially to consider be part of a bigger ecosystem. And because it is really the connection between all of those touch points and 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 applications that potentially make a sustainable business at the end of the day. And a good example of this is Tencent Music from Asia, from China, who managed to build a really compelling ecosystem with gamification, social interaction, and live streaming and virtual experience combined all together. And the final word is for an artist, for sure, the almighty Snoop. Just to say here, it's a quote from uh, 11 years ago about virtual items, just saying he was ahead of the curve, but also to say that you should, as entrepreneurs, if you are developing innovative solution in the virtual space, in XR, in metaverse, I really encourage you to get in touch with artists, managers, labels, live promoters, venues, festivals, because music is definitely a super exciting and valuable playground for innovation to thrive. And music has proven not to be only disruptable, as we say, but to embrace the future, and maybe also to be a lab for new types of usage and new types of models, including virtual goods, including NFTs, and including other stuff to come, and especially virtual realities and unlimited realities, as you say here. So thanks for your attention. It was great to be here. I hope you enjoyed, and I will be open for questions after that. Thanks again.